guys, welcome to Hooper's Radar, and in today's video we'll be discussing the depth of the Portland Trailblazers and my opinion on whether they'll be a dark horse in the playoffs and just how underrated of a team they are. So to begin, we have the Portland Trailblazers depth chart in here. Just to say we're missing one very notable player who had a great, amazing show out in the Summer League, Jabari Walker. So I'll just be discussing him in my memory as we go on. But to begin with this, I just want to start off with the starters. I think these are the clear starters as it shows here. I think, yeah, Dame for sure will be point guard. Anthony Simons, who has that big contract, although he played point guard last season when Dame was out, will be our starting shooting guard as well. Ain't no point of putting a player so talented on the bench as a point guard. So Dame and Anthony are definitely a certified backcourt right now. Josh Hart at the small forward can always change between him and Nasir Little, or even maybe Gary Payton, but Gary Payton is like very undersized and like 6'2", and Josh Hart is just taller and more lengthy. So I believe Josh Hart will be our small forward, and it seems like the Blazers are going to be going for now another year with the 3-guard lineup, because that's always been a Trailblazer thing to do. Last year we had Dame, CJ, Norm. It's always been a thing to do the 3-guard lineup. But we're trusting that Josh Hart will be a better defensive guard as a small forward than Norman Powell last year, because although Norman Powell was known to be a good defender, he didn't really give us much of that effort last season on the Portland Trailblazers. And Josh Hart, he's a proven defender already, and he showed that on the Pelicans, and he showed that in the last stretch of the season with the Trailblazers when all our major players were out. So I'm trusting Josh Hart will be a great defensive forward, even though he's like the size of a shooting guard. He will play good. The best role he could play, he will try to play that small forward, and he'll be a good defensive player. So I'm definitely on the ride that Josh Hart will be our starting small forward. I'm all for it. Jeremy Grant, arguably our biggest acquisition this offseason, will be our power forward. He provides great defense, as that was proven on the Nuggets' crucial playoff journey that they had when Jamal Murray was still healthy and when they had eliminated the Jazz and they made the Western Conference Final. Jeremy Grant was a key part of that, and his defense is just really good. And now he's also a proven 20-point per game scorer, as that's what he did on the Pistons when he signed to the Pistons. So we have a pretty good scoring threat and defensive threat in Jeremy Grant at power forward. And we have our most reliable center that we've had in a while, Nurkic. We re-signed him. Double-double machine, and most underrated part of his game is his playmaking. So we have a very good starting lineup, very underrated starting lineup. A lot of people don't talk about this lineup, but Dame and Anthony Simons are going to be a lethal shooting backcourt, scoring threats. We're going to have Josh Hart, who's a pretty good defender. We're going to have Jeremy Grant, who's another great defender and capable of averaging 20 points per game. And we have Nurkic, who's a double-double machine. And, yeah, our starting lineup's really looking good. Going into our bench, this is still a question mark. I don't think there's any bench or any player that certified to be on our bench except for Gary Payton II and Nasir Little. I think those two are practically the most certified. And Drew Eubanks, since we really don't have another center. Drew Eubanks, to start off at the center position, Drew Eubanks was pretty good in that last stretch that happened with the Blazers last season towards the end. He was putting up double-doubles, so I have trust that he'll be a pretty solid backup center. Hopefully not just another Enes Kanter who puts up double-doubles but doesn't play good defense. Justice Winslow at power forward is a very big if. I don't know about that one for sure. There's players that have been doing really well in Summer League and just showed out. Jabari Walker could definitely crack the rotation at power forward or small forward. And Trendon Watford for sure, who was the Summer League Finals MVP. So I think he's also a candidate to crack that. Or even Greg Brown III can also crack that power forward position. So it's up for grabs there. Players like Keon Johnson can also crack a small forward position, who have been pretty good in Summer League. So the bench is definitely up for grabs. But I like Brandon Williams as our backup point guard. I think he'd make a pretty solid backup point guard. If not, Anthony Simons would just play extra backup minutes and Dame will sit. Gary Payton II coming off as our 2 guard will be great. He'll be the heart and soul of our defense and just provide defensive presence, which is great. That's what we signed him for. He's going to be great for us, and I love him coming off the bench. Nasir Little, I think he deserves the small forward spot the most, but, you know, nothing's proven. You know, players can always take each other's spots, and it's the business of the game. You know, Keon Johnson's been pretty good. Trendon Watford's been pretty good. Jabari Walker's also been really good. You know, all these players are competing for spots, and If I was to put my best bet, I would definitely love Jabari Walker to come off the bench because those double doubles he was putting up in the summer league were amazing, and he just showed that um he should. Right now, he looks like the better draft pick over Shaden Sharp, but that's not saying much. Shaden didn't play a lot of minutes. Speaking of Shaden, Shaden can also crack the rotation if he can play very well when he comes back. Um, feel bad he got injured. I hope he heals up, obviously. And I can't wait till he gets back on the court because I know that he's an amazing talent, and that was just one unfortunate thing that happened to him. But yeah, the bench is still a big question mark. I think Drew Eubanks and Brandon Williams are probably the players that will come off the bench for sure. The rest of and Gary Payton the second because we obviously signed him and we need a defensive player with that presence off the bench. But aside from those three players, I think the other two spots are open. We have plenty of forwards on this team who are competing for that. Shaden can be a small forward. Jabari Walker could be a small forward, a power forward, and Greg Brown III can also be a small forward, power forward. We also have Trent Watford in the mix. So the battle for the bench is definitely there. Brandon Williams can also as well be bumped out, but I think Gary Payton and Drew Banks are to stay because Drew Eubanks is our only other center, and Gary's services, no other player really provides that good defense as a 6'2", 6'3" guard. So yeah. Now going into the part where I tell you guys why this is such an underrated team and such a dark horse in the playoffs is because they have Dame. This team will only go as far as Dame. Dame has proven that he can carry a team to a conference finals before. It was only once, but I'm telling you, he's coming off this injury. He looks the best he's ever been, and he was torching the Nuggets before his injury in the playoffs on an injury. So now that he's healthy, imagine what he can do when he's back. So I have all my trust in Dame. Anthony Simons, who showed amazing growth last year, is now also going to be starting alongside Dame, and he's an amazing scoring threat and great three-point shooter. So I have trust in Anthony, will also be a 20-point per game scorer at least. We have Josh Hart, potentially as our small forward. He's probably going to end up being our starting small forward. He can also score and play make because he's still a guard technically, but he's a great defender too, so I love him at the small forward. Jeremy Grant, who's now a proven 20-point per game scorer on the Pistons and a very versatile defender at the power forward. Scary threat. He's probably our biggest X factor. And then Nurkic, double-double machine, makes the right plays. Love Nurkic. So we have a great starting lineup, and we have a lot of depth off the bench too, underrated depth. And I love what Gary's going to provide. And the other players that crack the bench and the third string. So, yeah, I think the Blazers could be a 6 or 7 seed. Don't at me, man. I have my trust in my Blazers. They won't be a top 3 seed like previous years, but I have potential in them being a 6 or 7 seed and a second round exit probably, most likely. But yeah, I think this team's a dark horse. Whatever team runs into this team in the playoffs, the Blazers are not to be taken lightly. They can potentially cause an upset. And yeah, this is a very underrated team. I don't know why you guys keep sleeping on the Blazers, but yeah, man. Thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.